Lowell! How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Resi Renji Music Talk stream. It is Sunday, Saturday, September 28th, 2025. How are you doing, everybody? I am Resi Renji, everybody's favorite music-loving, yarn-spinning orange cat boy. And I hope you all are doing well. Welcome, Altair Vega. Already somebody in the chat. That's a good sign. I hope you're doing well, my good friends. I welcome you. I hope everybody is doing well since the last time we've been here. I've just sort of been I've been focused in looking for a new apartment. Basically, I think I mentioned it last stream that I need to find a new sublet because basically the situation I had is, again, kind of went to shit. And I've just had such bad apartment luck this year, y'all. It's really bad. But, you know, I found I found a decent place that I think I'm going to go in on that's literally like a few minutes walk away. So I'm really excited for that next step in my life. Hopefully when I get settled in next month, it's going to be a chill pad and, you know, a creative hub for me to keep doing what I do here at a Resi RNG Cha. Welcome, Raven C. Welcome, Wicked Little Raven. Wow, a theme with ravens today in the chat. Welcome, y'all. Apart from that, like I said, speaking of, you know, work on the Resi RNG Cha, I've been I've been continuing to try and script, hack away at the script for the last glam metal deep dive. And in the process, I've been playing some songs from, like, Bon Jovi and Def Leppard in the early 90s, at least the ones that have been charted and are made available in customs through Yard. And, you know, not only are they pretty fun charts, but, you know, the songs themselves have been pretty fucking cool. I've been exposed to Dry County by Bon Jovi. Y'all, nobody sings the praises of Dry County hard enough. Like, you know, obviously Bon Jovi has, you know, scores of hits to his name thanks to the fucking 80s, and those are all well and good, should be commended. And I know Keep the Faith isn't as well, I guess. I mean, it is well regarded, but it isn't as commercially successful or notable as those other albums. But fucking Dry County, it is a heart render of a song. It is. Fucking listen to Dry County. 10 out of 10 song. I would recommend again. But there's that. Oh, I saw Orb on Friday. You know, the psychedelic rock band Orb from, I say psychedelic rock band from Australia at this point, like that's, like that narrows it down at all, but they're this, like, sort of, I mentioned them in my King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard tour history video as them sort of being a cross between, like, Black Sabbath and Syd Barrett era Pink Floyd in the way they sound, and they've gotten a lot jazzier since then. Like, their newest album, Tail and Bend, I've been listening to that a bunch before and after the show. And, you know, they really started incorporating a lot more jazz influence, more flute, more conga, more, just a tighter control of their music. And they got a new drummer recently, too. He's fucking awesome. The way that he's able to tease out, like, as much space to do, like, beats and fills as possible in between, like, sludgy beats of stoner metal. It's something to behold. And I'm excited too, because apparently the concert I went to, they played 2 shows in the day I saw them. Both concerts are going to be recorded and released as a live album, so I'm super excited to see how that sounds. But apart from that, things have just been pretty chill in my life. So I guess we can get in now to talking about our guest of the evening. And folks, I owe you all an apology. I kind of fucked up in trying to bring this guy to you the first time. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, my connection was just bad, and somehow, I don't know, that fed into my Bluetooth connections with my earbuds, and they started sounding distorted and all that shit. And I tried swapping between sources. I restarted my computer. It was a whole mess, and my guest here this evening was party to all of it. I deeply apologize to him, to you, to y'all in the audience, to God. I don't know. We here at the Resi Orenji Cha pride ourselves on our professionalism and ability to adapt and move on even when things get tough. And I just completely kind of broke down the other day trying to deliver this stream. But enough about my whinging. Our guest of the evening, the guy that I'm hoping to redeem with this conversation today, or I'm not redeeming, I'm redeeming myself with this conversation with him today. He's a rapping VTuber who's got a whole bunch more music other than rap, though. I mean, he likes rap, he likes rock. He's just a well-balanced sort of dude who has, a bunch of his own experience recording and producing music. So, I'm excited to welcome, and would you please join me in welcoming Mortal Martian to the show. Hello, Mortal. How's it going, man?
It's going good, Rezi. Thank you so much for having me on once again.
Well, I'm glad you could join me again after things kind of fell apart spectacularly the first time. But
Yeah,
hopefully we can do you right this time.
of course.
So, as I usually like to do with these streams, I like to open the floor to my guests and get them speaking about like what really gets them going in terms of music. So like what sparked your passion for music? It's one thing, right, to sort of have
Right.
music in the background, listening to it and just sort of having it as a mood enhancer or whatever. Another thing
hmm
entirely to be a rap VTuber, alien sort of dude. So like what was the sort of like spark in your journey that led to that?
Well, the interesting thing about my music journey is one that I necessarily wouldn't call myself like a VTuber rapper. Uh, like, yes, that is mainly what I'm doing nowadays, but my own music history is very extensive. I think it started out when I was 5, and my mom was playing the electric guitar, and I tried to play along, but obviously since I had tiny fingers, I wasn't able to like push down on the strings as hard as I
Oh yeah.
wanted to. But with time, I learned to play the guitar a fair bit, and I know power chords. I could play "She's Lost Control" by Joy Division. I can
Oh yeah.
play the chords to "Level Tear Us Apart."
Get
I,
used
I
to
know
the
some
action
some
and all
basic
that
stuff.
stuff.
I think I even learned territorial pissings at one point, but I don't remember how that one
Oh
goes
yeah.
now. But
I
yeah,
mean,
I
those
think that was
Nirvana
pretty much
songs, I'm
sparkly.
sure they're all like good starter guitar songs, right?
They are, they are. I think I even learned Teen Spirit. That one I do remember.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think later on I wouldn't really like dip my toes into writing and recording
Oh,
music until maybe about the 12th grade, to the point where I made I'll say just a punk EP that has never been released, probably never will be released. I don't even know what happened to the original files, if I still have them. Um, so yeah, I made that, uh, wrote them onto a few CDs, handed them out to some students at my high school, and they're probably the only ones that have like the first ever thing of recorded music I ever made, with just a Rock Band, a microphone, a Fender amp, and a guitar that I still have to this day.
Was it just you or yourself recording like without any
Yes, it was
drums or
it
bass?
was
Oh
very much
wow.
just me myself, for sure. Yeah. And then later on, 2015, I want to say, I think it might have been 2015. Yeah, 2015 is when I started like doing reaction videos, and then I think a few years later, I started making music under the handle of Dr. Reverb, and
uh,
that in itself is a very That's a deep rabbit hole in itself.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that like the later albums, they did eventually get better, and I'm pretty happy with all the output. Aside from like the one unreleased album, but I feel like that should remain unreleased just because like all the songs kind of sound the same or similar.
You put it on the box
I
set someday when you get big, and you have nothing else to lose at that point.
Yeah, those are gonna be for the hardcore fans for sure. And then come December 2019 is when I start rapping. Actually, my first rap name was Lethal D. I don't know where I got that from, but apparently I found out later that there was actually a rapper called Lethal B. So I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna abandon this.
Oh my
And
god.
then
Lethal D is my porn star name.
yeah, that too. And then, oh gosh, I think it might have been 2024. I decided to change my rap name to Dan Gray. And the main reason for that is because it's in reference to, the Portrait of Dorian Gray written by Oscar Wilde. That was the main inspiration behind the rap name for sure. And Dan Gray, he's like the more personal side of my music, the personal rap
coming from your heart.
sure. Right. But for like the less serious tracks, I will sometimes rap as Mortal Martian. It just depends on the subject matter and the track at hand.
Right, totally. So yeah, you totally mentioned a bunch of different genres that you've encountered on your way. You love hip hop, rock, singer-songwriter, fair and equal measure. Like, what's the history there? Who'd you get into that like really inspired you?
I think the first ever band that I listened to was the Naked Brothers band, embarrassingly enough. And like their first album from back in the day. Yeah, I watched a lot of that show when I was a kid. I wasn't allowed to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender for some reason, but
oh wow. Those Nick sitcoms, man. I mean, like all those shows. All those shows trying to like push stars out of those young kids, and like the sort of cheap radio pop that came out of it. It's it's nostalgic nowadays, but like back then it was just like ubiquitous.
Very ubiquitous for sure. And honestly, I think the Disney Channel was a lot more successful in pushing out pop stars in that regard. If you're like comparing Disney Channel and Nickelodeon,
totally.
When it comes to their respective music machines.
I mean, I know they tried with Victorious to sort of replicate like the Miley Cyrus success, but that didn't really work out at first. I mean, but then fucking Ariana Grande blew up from that, and I think some other kid recently from that show, got like a hit in the Billboard charts, and just like talk about sleeper success.
Yeah, sleeper success is absolutely a real thing.
But beyond the Naked Brothers band, then like. What was like?
I did also listen to some Beatles around that time as well.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, oh my god, I think the first ever CD that I was able to like listen to on my own was when my dad got me. It was Rush and their compilation album Spirit of the Radio.
Oh hell yeah!
I played that one non.
Rush are fucking great.
That was a lot of fun. But like the first, oh my gosh, I think the first ever music video I distinctly remember watching. I did watch other music videos like, Weird Al's Eat It, Michael Jackson's Beat It, Billie Jean, Music Choice, and all of those music videos in rotation. Even the Black Eyed Peas' Let's Get It Started around that time too was Foo Fighters' Pretender. Like I saw that one on the Music Choice channel on a television.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, that's nostalgic.
So cool.
I remember watching a lot of music TV back in the day too. My dad had access to VH1 and all those sorts of programs. So I remember seeing a bunch of music videos, documentaries, watching that metal show. Like that's a core memory for me. Like going back in the day and watching like that metal show with fucking Eddie Trunk and the two other co-hosts he had on there.
Wow.
No joke, even Ariana Grande said the music I was making was... Oh, yeah. No, totally. That's something to be said about, like, those pop stars who start out under Disney, but then sort of find themselves in their own career. Like, I think, like, Sabrina Carpenter recently has kind of been like that, too, right? Hasn't she? Like, she started out in Disney doing music there, and then recently she's blossomed into this...
I think we were thinking of Selena Gomez as well.
Oh, yeah.
She was also on... a couple of Disney Channel shows.
Here's a music question. If there's one thing you feel that needs to make a comeback, what do you feel needs to return? That is a good question. What do I feel needs to return to modern music? I don't know. It feels rote to say, like, fucking analog technology and analog feel and all that stuff.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like, utilizing analog technology as a part of your recordings, but the thing, though, is that you still have to, like, physically maintain some of the analog technology, like with compressors and vacuum tubes and, stuff of that nature. So, I understand the necessity for digitizing that particular technology, just so that way there's like a little bit less of a headache.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't. I was gonna say that, like, you can't get the same, I guess, warmth and sound off of a digital version of a compressor in comparison to the real thing. But the thing, though, is that the difference between the analog compressor and the digital compressor, it's almost night and day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's gotten that good.
Yeah. I will say, I think one thing that I would want more out of modern music is, I guess, more drum solos / drum breakdowns, more funky grooves where it's just like the drummer going ham for a few bars. I feel like
absolutely.
I feel like we've lost that in like our modern day of like beats and electronic music and all that stuff. I mean, we still have some great breakdowns here and there, don't get me wrong, but like we really need like a more, I don't know, it feels like we've lost the art of the drum solo in the pop landscape, at least.
It's not just the art of the drum solo. I think the art of the drum break is what needs to come back as well.
Absolutely.
Because like hip hop was kind of essentially built off of, funk and disco drum breaks.
Yeah, that's true. We need more shit to sample. That's real,
Exactly. We need more shit to sample. And we need the process of like clearing said samples to be more streamlined.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, but for that to really happen, we need to fucking reform the entire American copyright system, and that's not happening anytime in the next fucking half century or whatever.
But yeah, no, I get your point there. I get your point.
For me, I feel the length of songs being longer than 2.5 minutes.
Another thing I was thinking should come back is like independent record labels.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like the thing with modern music is that, we're too atomized sort of in individual labels, right? Because anybody can really be their own label, so to speak, and just like distributing their own music. And I mean, I do agree with you. I think there should be more labels out there that are on the ground and trying to, sign more artists and stuff, but I feel like it's hard to sort of have the logistics of a label these days. So
I could understand that as well. And to be fair, there are still independent record labels that do technically still exist, like Alternative Tentacles,
Oh yeah.
as
Shout
well
out
as
Jello.
I was gonna say Fueled by Ramen, but like they're technically like a subsidiary of Atlantic.
Yeah. Sub Popper's
Yeah,
still
so
around.
yeah, Sub Pop's still around, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So they count.
Yeah. I feel you though, Kibo, on the whole songs longer than 2.5 minutes thing. I mean, I come from a love of progressive rock growing up, so
Right.
I'm no stranger to really sort of sitting and letting a song be like a slow burn or an epic or anything like that. I mean,
Mhm.
I understand why something like that could never really land on the Billboard charts, but like even like funk and R&B and tunes like that, like I love a lot of like these sort of disco 12-inch mixes of songs back in the day. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, obviously Donna Summer is like the queen of that. There's like that 12-inch version of Love to Love You Baby that's, I mean, literally fucking orgasmic. She moans like a goddamn storm in the back half of that song.
Hell
Um
yeah.
but also the 12-inch mix of Last Dance might be like the greatest fucking disco thing ever produced.
Mhm.
uh Another one is more collabs between I mean, yeah. I'm definitely game for more international collaboration, especially in these times where it feels like so much of the political climates of the world is like verging towards isolation and atomization and
Yeah.
nationalization. We need more people reaching out and working together and reveling in our likenesses and differences and all that all that stuff.
I would definitely love to see more collaborations between countries and artists for sure. I think there was
Mm-hmm.
one producer that was like, I can't remember exactly, but like he would pick a country on a globe and then
Oh yeah.
collaborate with an artist from that country. I
Oh
remember them
yeah.
doing that, but I don't know if they're still doing it or if they're not doing it anymore. I don't even remember who the producer was, but I do remember them like doing that at one point. And actually,
Yeah.
speaking of the music industry, they're kind of in shambles right now because of TikTok and
I,
just because of like the lack of live performances
yeah. I mean, to
and
be fair,
shit of that nature.
the music industry has been in a continuous state of shambles since the MP3 allowed people to rip music for themselves.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they've ever quite figured out how to make the digital era work in terms of like paying artists equally for, what streams get airplay, where and when. And I mean, even touring these days is a fucking disaster due to Ticketmaster,
hmm
so
I mean, Spotify is getting fairly close to that in regards to like music streaming and stuff like that. But
yeah.
here's the thing: we're at a particular time where music artists and bands are pulling their music from Spotify because of the money that is being funneled in towards
Right.
Daniel X AI military company Helsing
Yeah,
and what they're
yeah.
doing with the tech there. So
Yeah. No,
it's
I'm
very interesting to witness that the kind of exodus. And
yeah.
if anyone out there is a music artist on Spotify, I would highly recommend you pull your music from Spotify as well. I don't think
Yeah.
any of my music is on Spotify either. I think it's mainly just it's either YouTube, Coffee, or Bandcamp.
I'm really
If you
interested
know
to
where to look.
see. Yeah, I'm really interested to see like which streaming platform really takes over as like sort of I don't know, the competitor to sort of take on Spotify's monopoly, if there's any out there. I feel it's got to be like fucking complicated to really run a business like Spotify's well like that, right? I mean,
hmm
Spotify does, and they're ripping off everybody all the time. So goes to show
Yeah,
how
pretty much.
how fucking cutthroat it is there.
I mean, if there really is a competitor I could think of that could take Spotify's place, it's either Apple Music or Amazon Music, one of the two,
Yeah.
because of how big that they are as companies respectively.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is just like, if I'm ever gonna really truly migrate from Spotify, I need whatever streaming service I migrate to have a freemium version, right? And
And yeah, that's understandable. But honestly,
yeah.
I'm just gonna tell you this from experience. If you want to migrate away from Spotify, get an MP3 player or an iPod.
That is
And
very true.
just download Apple Music, put all of your actually no, not Apple Music because that apparently doesn't work.
Yeah.
For like iPod Classics, but get Media Monkey as well. Put all the
Yeah.
MP3s and songs on there and shit, and just sync it up.
I have an
That's what I've done.
old ass like 64 gig iPod somewhere that I had from way back in the day. Not currently on me. It's probably somewhere, back at my parents' house or whatever. But
Probably, yeah.
but I I ripped so much music from online and put it on that fucking thing, and if I were to if I were to rediscover that, it'd be like fucking opening an ancient archive or something.
It really would be.
Shoot. There's talk about Deezer in the chats. I haven't really I think I looked into Deezer briefly, but they were another one of those platforms that didn't really have a free option.
Yeah, apparently Deezer is like more subscription based in
Yeah,
comparison.
it only gives you
So,
30 seconds of listening, as Kibo said. Yeah,
no,
it's lame, but yeah,
yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta go with the iPod
Yeah.
because
Or-
like nothing's free. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
like wanting to listen to music on like a music streaming service, it's not free.
Oh no,
So
I
you
mean
got-
I'm well familiar that I encounter ad hell the longer I run those fucking freemium shits, but
Mhm.
so be it.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Take your time.
Wait, how do you? I guess this is actually a good pivot into the next question in this chain. Like, how do you discover new music nowadays? Like, because with all these streaming sites in flux, like, are you somebody who still tries to algorithmically discover stuff in playlists, or like, do you more organically try to stumble across new music?
That's a great question. For me, I think there was a time last year I discovered new albums through like Instagram Reels and people like recommending albums to listen to for like, the fall season.
Oh, that's fun.
And yeah, so Instagram Reels as well as I guess just YouTube, but I actually have like my search history turned off.
Mhm.
Just like all of that turned off, just so that way that Google isn't able to harness any of my user data.
Right. I don't know. I still I still try to, listen to stuff on Spotify and get like stuff recommended to me that way. I mean, not Spotify, YouTube. I mean, like the YouTube
Right.
algorithm has historically been my friend. I would not know Future Funk or City Pop or any of that stuff if not for that.
And that's understandable. And actually, another place that I did just recently discover, but that I haven't really looked further into, is Every Noise at Once. And it's like a large list of like all of the music genres and subgenres in one site. You could like click on one and hear a preview of a song in that specific genre.
Oh
And
yeah.
that way, you could look up that genre, subgenre on YouTube and discover more music and albums from artists in that genre.
Wow. Yeah, That's awesome. It's bringing back the old days of like fucking online web directories where you feel like you felt like you could like chart the entire internet in like the span of a few web pages.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I
Yeah,
also did
yeah.
watch this, one Tony Weaver Jr. Instagram reel about how white guys aren't making bleh, how
Yeah.
white guys are not making pop punk in their garages anymore in order to express their feelings, and that podcasts, like right wing podcasters, are making them freaking hateful towards minorities and shit. And I think the most important piece of input that I gave is like, yes, while there are like, alt-right centered podcasts contributing to that, I
Yeah.
think it's more important to realize that another reason for why pop punk is ruined is because it's too expensive to be able to afford a home with a garage.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
And
mean?
skate
Because of
parks
the
are getting
housing.
fucking closed down everywhere too. So
And plus, since, like a majority of people would rather live in apartments in comparison to homes because of,
mhm.
how cheaper it is to live in an apartment, every time a new artist comes out with a single or comes out with an album, they're usually within the rap or electronic space because
Exactly.
you're able to work with audio interface. They're able to plug in like a pair of headphones. They're able to use those headphones when producing music,
Yeah.
and they're less worried about how much noise they're actually making in comparison to like in a garage with like
Absolutely.
three other people.
Actually, yeah, no, that really speaks to my own experience because like only really was able to, I guess, get started somewhere in a band early on because my the frontman in my first band, his dad, like his parents, literally had like a basement that we could like set up in and rehearse. Like the the ability of like us as Americans to afford like houses with spaces big enough to like get together and rehearse is like rapidly diminishing, you know. And I speak as like a resident of New York City where like I barely have enough room like on average like whenever I move places to set up a drum kit to rehearse, you know.
Yeah, and it's not just like the fact that we're not able to afford a house to live in. Try getting a gig at a small club. That small
Exactly.
club that you used to play back in the day, it's probably a Panera Bread now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gentrification is real, baby.
Yeah, no, it's very real. I've unfortunately seen like a few venues close in my time since moving up here.
Yeah.
Want to live in a house. The only good apartment is one by Rose featuring Bruno Mars. Oh, that's a song, right? Is that the one with the
I
where
assume that's
the
the
pop
song.
punks and the I think I've seen that video in the gym, but I could be wrong.
That's fair.
Uh, let's see. Uh, so I guess kind of pivoting now to talk about your music. How would you say your influences have like really shaped how you approach like making music?
Well, the thing is, I think it kind of just depends on the artist in which I made music in that lane. Like with
Yeah.
Dr. Reverb, as well as, the earlier works, I was kind of just messing around with online based synths and drum machines and trying to figure out just how to make music that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it especially helps that I had Audacity at the time. But
Mm-hmm.
then, when you go more into the Dan Gray side of things, I'm a little bit more familiar with Waveform, which is now my main digital audio workstation. I'm more familiar with how to sample. I'm more familiar with how to chop samples. I'm more familiar with taking into account like the flow and how I rap on a beat. I try to take into account like the tempo and the BPM and stuff like that. And I try to make sure that I stay on topic
Mm-hmm.
whenever I write any of my raps.
Right, right. Do you like freestyle a lot, or do you try to like go into the booth with
I don't
like
really
something solid?
freestyle in the traditional sense that you tend to think. I kind of
Okay,
just go line by line.
right.
Whatever pops up into my head, like I try to write that down, and I'm just like, okay, that could work. What else could we add to this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I've I was actually, it's interesting. I think my last guest, Kirby Cross, we were talking about this and that like traditional freestyling doesn't really, happen as often these days as before. In that, like, a lot of rappers, they just sort of, write and, memorize something to go into, somewhere with, sort of like as if they sort of pulled like this whole thing, from thin air, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I could never. I mean, I don't have the wordplay to fake anything like that ever. So I would never be able to freestyle in the first place.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever freestyle in the first place. And even if I like wanted to rap on like a radio show, I would probably need to get my phone out. I know I would look like Drake with the BlackBerry, but
Right,
look,
right.
look. Each artist is different. Each artist has their different writing processes. Each artist has like their own way of how they rap, and that's kind
Yeah,
of just
yeah.
fun. That's
I mean,
especially my
that's.
recording process too, because like I have an application for writing my lyrics called Rhymer's Block,
Mm.
and I just like hold up my phone from behind like the microphone shield and just kind of like read along like a teleprompter
Oh, I
basically.
see. That's interesting. Like, what's that app called?
Rhymer's Block.
Rhymer's Block. That's interesting. Is it kind of like a Mad Libs thing? If you like in
Not
emergency, like
necessarily
in
a Mad
case
Libs
of
thing, no. But it does like give you suggestions for other words that rhyme with the word that you just typed out.
Oh, neat. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's that's very helpful to have in a pinch. I've spent. I remember spending time trying to write lyrics and like bouncing between like typing it down and like going to the fucking thesaurus.com or whatever.
You know what? I've kind of had to resort to maybe not going to thesaurus.org necessarily, but just like trying to look up other words that I thought of in my head and trying to figure out what the meaning of that word is.
Oh
It
yeah.
happened.
Hey, you want to be sure you're not accidentally saying lies or saying saying anything
Not
yeah.
necessarily saying
Or
lies, but also like saying a word that doesn't mean what you think it means.
yeah, that's more what I meant. Yeah. Or you'll accidentally end with like Kendrick Lamar and like confusing Joel Osteen for Haley Joel Osment.
I think that was kind of intentional because of the confusing nature of the rap battle with Drake in itself.
Could be, yeah. I mean, I don't know. uh so when I guess like when you write music, how does that proceed? Do you like typically start with a kernel of an idea or you go from there, or do you like have a do you like to do a bit of exploration before then? Before then.
I think it kind of starts with, you know what? I think it depends. It depends on the project I'm writing for.
Mhm.
And for the latest project of mine, Attention Seekers Anonymous,
Okay.
I had like, like ideas of certain themes I wanted to touch on in the lyrics.
Mhm.
I think the latest one I wrote for was contradictions.
Okay.
So, like I wrote all the choruses and verses for that one. And I understood that with the first verse, I need to explain what a contradiction is and like, give examples
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
whatnot. And just be like, oh, did you catch it? So There is that, but like I think in the second half of that verse, it does kind of like dabble more into like uh, ex exclusive. I can't explain it right exactly, but like
A lot of wordplay and
ex- well, not necessarily, maybe not necessarily wordplay, but just like wealth gap.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool,
then with the
kind of.
second verse, I also kind of like rap from the perspective of like not a music executive, but like an executive from a tabloid or from a newspaper
Ah,
talking
yeah.
about how, they're like reappropriating certain language in order to scare people.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
And, you know, pointing out the fact that like, all of these tragedies that are happening in the world, it's financially fruitful for them
Mm-hmm.
because they're getting more readers out of printing all of this junk. And the
Oh,
fact that
yeah.
it's so ubiquitous to the point where you could find it at a grocery store, they like average everyday people aren't gonna pay attention to someone like the paparazzi taking pictures of I don't know, a celebrity in
Yeah.
a fist fight or what may have you.
It's so
And the
crazy
fact
how
that all
actual
of this
physical
and the fact that
magazines
all of
still
like
exist like that. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, and the fact that like, all of these so-called tactics that they all use, it's just repetitive. They're all repeating themselves. There's nothing new to it, and yet people still fall for it.
Yeah, yeah. So in other words, like you sort of thought of like all these perspectives that you wanted to rap from, and now you're piecing them together in song.
Right.
That's really cool. I love whenever love whenever rap songs like bounce between multiple different perspectives and voices and tones and shit like that. All the stuff that Kendrick's fucking great at. Uh
Sing About Me is probably the best example that you could think of
oh yeah, yeah.
because he raps from like different people's perspectives
Mhm. Yeah, totally.
and about like the reception of his the Section 80 mixtape.
Mhm. And it's just wild whenever I listen to like a Kendrick track and he goes through like all these different voices, all these different flows, like fucking effortlessly. You have to get to a certain point as a rapper to like pull that off. And like
Mhm.
people like to rag on rap and say it's like a fucking talentless genre, like your Ben Shapiro's of the world, and I'm just like, bitch, you try it.
Oh, wet ass P-word. Oh my god.
No, fucking facts, the
Yeah.
fucking the Tom McDonald shit he appeared on.
Yeah, and apparently these two other new MAGA rappers that I'm not even gonna bring up their names and the
Yeah,
fucking yeah, yeah.
the
They
trolls.
yeah, the trolls. It's just cringe.
Yeah,
Like that particular set of rap for sure. And Dax.
absolutely.
Dax is especially guilty of that
I mean,
for
it fucking
sure.
speaks to an interesting moment in our culture, though, where like where rap has become so like I guess assimilated into mainstream culture that you know I'm thinking like 30 years ago, basically, fucking mainstream rappers, in chains and like their fucking backwards caps, throwing up gang signs for Trump and like the Republican Party. That would have been seen as a fucking aberration, like Republicans hated gangster rap back in the day. Like,
Yeah, they did. And you know
I,
what's crazy is that apparently there's like this conspiracy theory, and I'm not sure if it's real or ge- maybe not real or genuine, but like I know it's a conspiracy theory.
yeah,
But apparently, record labels were paid by members of the prison complex in order to
Mhm.
promote gangster rap, so that way they could jail more African Americans
Mm.
and have
See,
more prison labor.
that does sound like something, something
And this
something.
meeting allegedly happened, oh God, when? Like 1989, 1990. So before the rise of NWA and,
Mhm.
Dr. Dre, Ice-T, and what may have you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that sounds interesting if it's true. um, yeah, it's crazy. I've been doing research, recently into the early '90s and sort of fucking
Mhm.
gangster rap as it existed around that time. Just
Right.
as the LA riots were happening and all that, and it's crazy. Apparently, like fucking George H.W. Bush and like the
Mhm.
Republican administration, like they took like Ice-T's body counts cop killer and like
Yeah.
basically elevated it into a fucking national like front news issue and like as a way to distract like from the failures of like the fucking LA riots or whatever, like trying to
And the
turn
war
it.
on drugs too. And
Yeah.
here's the thing, Body Count, the cop killer, right? Body Count was a metal band featuring
Oh yeah.
Ice-T. It wasn't a rap group, it was a metal band.
Right.
And then you also have like the Prince, Purple Rain and the Revolution album and the Twisted Sister controversy,
Yeah, the
and Tipper Gore
PMRC.
trying to get all of these things to have like a freaking advisory warning on the front cover, which,
Mm-hmm.
in retrospect, it does look cool, but it was ultimately kind of pointless.
Yeah, and it
And the
I
whole
would
fucking
argue
and the
it.
whole fucking and the whole fucking narrative Tipper Gore had about how listening to music leads people to taking drugs. I'm sorry, Tipper Gore, but listening to music doesn't make you take drugs. Listening to music leads you away from drugs. And yes, I know I'm quoting Jello Biafra saying that, but
Mm,
it's true.
yeah, Body Count wasn't that good. I've never actually listened to Body Count. Unfortunately, I can't really formulate an opinion any which way. But I would be interested to hear. I mean, like early rap metal into new metal. Those sorts of dabblings. That's always interesting to look into.
Right.
It's like video games and violence. Oh my god. I
Yeah, that's
I
that's a whole
hate
other can of worms.
I hate living right now in the fucking current climate where like the government is trying to do all this censorship again because we're repeating all these fucking conversations that should have been settled a long fucking time ago, like I'm seeing people bring up the PMRC again. I'm seeing people talk about, violence in video games again, and I'm just like, fuck me, man. I hate living through history,
The fact that our country brought in a large majority of the Nazis in just to work on the Apollo program instead of just hanging them,
Yeah.
it's a double-edged sword.
Mm. I mean, even with the fucking Nuremberg trials, like we only killed so many of them.
Yeah,
Uh,
that we did. But here's the problem, like the Nazis in their original form, like, they're already extinct, but their ideology, the iconography, the mindset, like all
yeah,
of that is still it still exists.
definitely. I am, I am not I'm not disputing that in the slightest. So let me see. So like, I
Plus,
think we
like,
saw.
some of
I
that
think
I kind of blame on George W. Bush with the freaking No Child Left Behind program. Like, what the fuck, man? Just because you're advancing a child through school, that doesn't mean they fucking earned it.
Man. I I do not know. I honestly I don't know enough of that conversation to.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just
You're
had to get
good.
that out of the
No,
way.
I understand. Um, what was I gonna ask next? Oh yeah, I think we spoke like the last time we tried to do this about like your like sampling. Like how do you pick your samples?
I
Like whenever,
have a
yeah.
fairly
Sorry.
extensive uh, folder with various other folders that are full of samples,
Mm-hmm.
and a large majority of them, a lot of them actually, are royalty free.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming because like none of them, as far as I've been able to tell, have been flagged by YouTube.
Right.
So that does at least help. They're royalty free, and I could sample them without needing to give credit to the original person who created the sample, unless it's like a Mario Luciano or anyone else that explicitly says make sure to credit me in the production credits. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, a large majority of the samples here royalty free,
I
basically.
am I am forever grateful to YouTube channels that put out royalty free or streamer BGMs and all that sort of stuff.
As am
literally literally my
I.
intro, my current BGM and my outro are all royalty free. So those
And
shits make streaming
sometimes,
possible.
yeah, and sometimes I do have to resort to like making my own sample. I think I did that once on the title track for Lunch Break,
Oh
which came out
yeah.
last. That was the only time I had to reinterpolate already like existing sample that I wanted to use, but like I didn't
Mm,
want to, message the guys that made it originally.
right.
Uh, so I was just like, I'm just gonna make my own. And as long as it like sounds similar and it has the same vibe, I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it is a cool thing, I think, to like record yourself doing something and then chop that up and try to sample it, some other way. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Radiohead did that for OK Computer for a few songs here or there.
Really?
Yeah, or at least I think it was like I know the intro track Airbag. Its drum track is basically cut and pasted a bunch of parts all together.
Oh yeah, that's the DJ Shadow inspiration.
Yeah, yeah. No, they were really like getting heavy into like electronic music in the late '90s. Between that and like everything on fucking Kid A.
Right. And then I think in late 90s, early 2000s with Kid A, I think they got more into like not intelligence dance music, but like minimalist kind of
Yeah, yeah.
electronica, basically.
Absolutely.
And even
Yeah.
the guys that made said music were like, this is not exactly what they. It doesn't sound anything like anything we have made. So
It's not true electronic music in the sense, but it's
yeah,
experimental electronic rock, and it's fun that way, I think.
exactly. It's experimental.
Yeah, yeah. uh, Radiohead, good fucking band. I haven't really been listening to them so much recently, though. I'm far more of a King Gizzard guy in terms of bands with huge discographies that are all over the fucking map with their
Right.
experimentations. Uh,
Actually recently I've kind of just been listening to a lot of Dead Kennedys because I've also
oh
been
yeah,
making art pieces inspired by Winston Smith, who was like the punk surrealist artist that made like the emblem. They didn't call it a logo at the time, but like the emblem for the Dead Kennedys.
oh that's cool.
And even like the cover for In God We Trust,
Mm-hmm.
that EP.
Mm. Neat. Yeah, I seriously need to take the plunge and listen to like Dead Kennedy's later albums. I'm only really familiar with like the early singles and like Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables and In God We
Right.
Trust.
Plastic Surgery Disasters is also really good.
Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the albums I. Oh my god. Yeah, I think a lot of the music that I had on my iPod, granted I got it somewhere online, but I downloaded a lot of it, off of old CDs that my mom and my dad had, and I also collected CDs myself. But I remember one of those
Nice.
CDs being what was it? Plastic Surgery Disasters, and I think I heard a few songs off that. Never sat down to listen to the entire thing though.
It's an awesome album.
Mm-hmm.
Plastic Surgery Disasters. It really is. I think one of my personal favorite songs from that one is Terminal Preppy.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like it has the energy of a Black Flag song, but it is so snide towards like freaking yuppie
Mm-hmm.
culture and just frat boy decadence with like, the Sports Illustrated magazines and the beer cans and all that.
Yeah. No, I love the way Jello Biafra does satire. He's he's so on the point with it. Like, are you familiar? I think he did a collab album. He did a collab album with No Means No in like 1990 or so. I forget what it's called, but
I haven't heard that one.
it's
I
really
haven't heard
good.
that.
I mean, are you familiar with No Means No in general?
Not particularly, no.
They are I would recommend getting into them. They're like this Canadian sort of I guess they started more art punkish before developing into like more like prog punk, sort of early I guess forebearers of like hardcore or like post-hardcore or whatever, but like there's this one album of theirs. I think it's called Wrong. That's like
Mm,
really fucking stellar. I definitely recommend that.
nice. To
Thoughts
give
on
that a
the
listen.
thoughts on the Demon Days album? Unfortunately, I don't think I was ever like
You never listened to
huge into the
Gorillas?
Gorillas like that. I mean, I love the singles. Feel Good Inc. and I think I've definitely Clint Eastwood heard before, but I never listened to all of that album.
I was kind of oh gosh. You know what? I haven't listened to the full Demon Days album all the way through in a long time,
Mm-hmm.
but I think one of my favorite, I'm going to say, deep cuts, Kids with Guns
Mm-hmm.
and El Mañana. I'm not sure if that was a single,
Mm-hmm.
but those two deep cuts are always really good in their own respective ways. I especially love the little guitar riff in Kids with Guns, like doom 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 doom. It's just
Yeah.
so. Actually, no, it was like doom 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 doom. Yeah.
I love me some Gorillas every now and then, though. Admittedly I can't take them entirely. I guess they're not entirely meant to be taken seriously, but I can't take them seriously after that one fucking meme that's floated around. Are you familiar with like Flimsy Steve or whatever?
I am not familiar with that meme at all. No.
I'm going to send you something over
Okay.
Steam or over Discord. You don't have to
Yeah.
react to it on stream, but
Right.
it's a
I've
funny
listened
meme.
to. I have listened to Demon Days and Plastic Beach. Just to let you guys know, I have listened to both of those albums. They're really good in
Yeah.
their own ways.
Uh
Actually,
yeah,
I think one of my favorite B-sides from the Gorillaz is probably Tomorrow Comes Today. Like
oh
that
yeah.
one was really good.
Hmm. I they did it.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Now I'm familiar with. Yeah. Okay, now I know what you're talking
yeah.
about.
Good. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I heard they did it. I think they did a single recently with Kevin Parker of Tame Impala. That was pretty good. What was it? New Gold or
Yeah.
something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
I
fun. Tame Impala is another band that I think they're putting out a new album, and I I haven't really bothered to pay attention to it.
That's fair.
I mean, not that I hate Tame Impala or anything. I just haven't
Right.
been. I don't think I've been as big on them since Kevin Parker really leaned into the whole, I guess, electronic dance music meets psychedelic rock approach. I mean, he
And
did it
there is
well.
an audience for that. There is an
Yeah.
audience for that for
I mean,
sure.
he did it really fucking well on Currents, but like Slow Rush was kind of, it was decent, but it wasn't like anything long lasting like his other albums. And now they've got like, what is it, Deadbeat coming out, and I don't know. I haven't sat down and listened to like any of the new tracks yet. I definitely want to at some point, but I don't
Right.
know. I've heard a lot of heard a lot of early press from people that if you didn't really like the Slow Rush or like the electronic stuff, it's your opinion's not really going to be changed here. And I'm like, okay,
I
I'll
mean, I
give
kind
that a
of
listen. Sorry, go ahead.
you know what? I did listen to the Slow Rush, and I did like it, not necessarily because of the production, but because of like the story it's trying to tell throughout the course of the album.
Oh yeah, no, it's
I think
like
that's what I was trying to like follow along with
a
was the
lot of it is
story.
seriously existential. It's like Kevin Parker confronting his insecurities and his, past traumas. And, it's really cathartic in that way. But, sonically, it's kind of retread ground.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think that's kind of what I like in music artists just in general, being able to confront these existential thoughts that they might have, or just any sort of insecurities that they themselves might be holding
Mm-hmm.
and might want to write a full album about and have
Absolutely.
it be cohesive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. uh, so which instruments and/or production techniques would you like to learn if you had the spare time?
Oh gosh. um I probably either sound design, or I don't know. I would just love to have like maybe not a pedal board again, but just I don't know, be able to have like a clear, I guess, clean guitar sound. But for some reason, the last time I tried to like record guitar with it, it wasn't as
Oh
clean as I
yeah.
wanted it to be.
I oh my god, I feel like it's like such a chore. Like if you really want to get a good guitar sound, like working through all those VSTs and like patching them all together so that they
Yeah.
produce the right sound. Like I the other day actually when I was in rehearsal with one of my bands, we were listening to an early mix of one of our songs, and I mean, this was more of a hardware issue for our bassist who's producing the thing, because
Right.
he's running his software on like a MacBook or whatever. I don't know how old the MacBook is, but like he's got like all these different like plugins that like running together to the point where like at random intervals it just becomes too much and like the audio driver crashes.
Oh no.
So like it's a whole complicated process. That's something, if I ever get deeper into learning production, that I fear fear trying to like work through.
That's totally understandable. I would probably recommend getting VSTs that are light on CPU usage.
Yeah, yeah. I mean
That helps
the
out a lot.
the good thing is I don't use a fucking MacBook either, so
That does help. That does help.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. How to say? I
Actually, you ever heard of the YouTube channel Audio Haze?
Audio Haze. No, I don't think I
Audio
have.
Haze. Yeah, he's a guy that like he's known for breaking down uh, music production of like a certain artist. I think his most popular video was like a guitar hat, like a guitar, like a faux guitar bridge hack with like a
Okay.
tennis racket sort of kind of thing. So then, like, after that went viral, he made his own, and I
Mm,
have yet to get that because I really want to try that as like
yeah.
a as like a fake rubber bridge that you could easily take on and off like the guitar strings.
Hmm. Oh, this is
That'd be
cool.
so cool.
I looked him up on YouTube, and I'm seeing he's done like videos on Mac DeMarco, on Wolfpack. It's neat.
Phoebe Bridgers, Billie Eilish, and he lives in
Yeah,
New York
yeah.
too.
Oh, neat. I I mean, not that I will probably stumble into him ever. I don't know. New York's a small city sometimes, but it's also a very big city. I can't claim to know
That
all the
is
fucking
totally understandable.
can't claim to know all the podcasters in Brooklyn. So
Yeah, not really.
uh um So, of like all the projects that you've had to date, what would you say has been your favorite to do?
Well, in regards to like the most recent project that's been like released, Lunch
Hmm.
Break is probably my personal favorite, but like after this project, Attention Seekers Anonymous, that one's probably gonna be my favorite as well because I'm like trying to have all these songs in one album that's like consistent with a certain theme
Right, you're
while
just
I'm
putting
still,
your all into it.
exactly, yeah. Like I literally have like one track that is a skit based off of like old 1950s commercials where I'm just like, "Welcome to Attention Seekers Anonymous," that kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
voice.
that's fun. Uh, I I think, yeah. You also, correct me if I'm wrong. You've also got like a bunch of like royalty-free music on your channel yourself, right?
Yeah, I have other albums under the Mortal Martian moniker that I would consider to be royalty free. They're not even like copyrighted either.
Okay.
So you could technically use them as like background music if there was like a particular song that matched your vibe.
Okay.
Especially and actually as a matter of fact, I think I got like one album I've yet to fully assemble, like get the track list down
Mm-hmm.
for, and then one album I've yet to upload, if I remember right. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like one album I haven't uploaded yet called Some Ringtones. It's just basically like 15 different, like 15 30-second ringtones that I
That's
made.
fun. Hey, we got to bring back ringtone rap. Get a
Not
hook.
maybe not ringtone rap, but just like the musical idea of just like a 30-second ringtone
Oh
and
yeah,
having ringtones on your phone that you could use as ringtones.
yeah, yeah. No, just you got to make a jingle that's catchy enough and short enough to fit in a 30-second fucking cell phone cell phone MP3 from 2005.
Got to be catchy and sound shitty at the same time.
Oh my god, yes. I I don't think I ever used any of those like scam like dial this number to get fucking Dragula by Rob Zombie. Yeah, I don't think I ever did
Oh
any
my
of
god.
those like those services. I think I went straight to like downloading shit off the computer and making that my MP3.
I think I was kind of doing that too back in the day, or trying to buy them in the iTunes store. I don't remember exactly. Like,
Oh
there's a
yeah.
lot of music in my freaking downloads that I have never re-downloaded just because I only have the single and not the full album.
Yeah. No, it's a struggle for sure. Um have you just out of curiosity, have you heard any of like your beats in the wild, like any of the stuff you've posted up on your channel? Have people been using your stuff royalty free?
Out in the wild, I don't really think so, but like
Okay.
uh towards the I want to say like the beginning of the pandemic from 2020 to 2022, I've made like a few beats for like a couple rappers, and they are out there. The songs are out there for sure, and I have a credit,
Mm-hmm.
but like I've never seen any royalties from said placements,
Right.
unfortunately. It's kind of just, it is
Mm.
what it is, really. But I
Yeah.
would love
Nah.
to like work with I just love to work with new artists in general.
Yeah.
Just anybody that's willing to give me a chance at the very least.
Hey. Yeah. I mean, it's always always good to get your foot in the door somewhere like that.
Exactly.
Um. So, from what I can tell, as you've mentioned, you've got a lot of your original music on YouTube currently. Um,
hmm
which track of like the Mortal Martian stuff is your favorite currently?
Ooh, that's a good question. Fuck. I need to look.
It's all good. You
Because
can
like
you
the
can.
thing is, the Mortal Martian stuff, that in itself is its own rabbit hole, because I have obviously like the Alien series of like albums that I'm making with like beats that I make whenever I'm streaming myself,
Yeah.
making music, as well as other music that I decide to put into like its own folder.
Hmm.
Um for like offline jams and shit like that. Um, yeah, I've literally got like a volume 3 for Alien I have yet to assemble, because I have no fucking idea how to assemble that one in particular. I think my favorite, uh, probably it's either Get On It from the first volume of Offline Jams,
Uh-huh.
or Out of Place from the second one.
Hmm.
Out of place mainly because that one, it was my first attempt at like one of those big beat uh kind of beats that you would hear in like a 2000s like spy movie main menu.
Oh yeah.
And for Get On It, that was very much like 2000s inspired hip hop at the time, like a Jay-Z or a Joe Budden would kind of
Yeah,
hop on that.
yeah. Like that sort of
Yeah,
Chicago, New York area production sound.
exactly.
Hell yeah. Um, uh, what what is being a VTuber meant for your songwriting on these tunes? Like, do you often try to incorporate like your lore and persona into things?
In regards to what VTubing means to me for songwriting, the funny thing is that I try to not incorporate my VTubing into my songwriting, because under the Dan Gray moniker, like that's more of the personal but abstract side of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I could certainly like make reference to my lore if I wanted to. I think I make more references to just other things. Like, yeah, I have one track where I talk about food, but it's from the perspective of someone who, growing up, like I struggle with overeating a lot,
Hmm.
especially when I've been sick all the time, and I've never felt like I had like a normal, quote unquote, childhood, so to
Yeah.
say. But yeah, I don't really like the idea of incorporating my VTuber's lore or personality in at least like the Dan Gray moniker, because like those two things, they're the same, but they're also separate,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Because like Mortal Martian, that's the production side of
Right.
things, right? Mortal Martian is always gonna have like the production bit, but
Yeah.
Dan Gray, that's more of like that's more of the person. That's more of me as a
Yeah.
person.
I mean, definitely, I definitely think it can be a hard line to walk rapping as a persona, right? Especially a VTuber persona. I mean, people have been pillorying fucking Mori Calliope for 5 years at this point for, being a rapping Reaper VTuber in Hololive, so.
You know what? I think that's the secret to being a rapper while also being a VTuber is to try and keep those things as separately as you can. Like when it comes
Yeah.
to like the personal stuff, like have a different character for that. But if
Mhm.
it's like less serious, then you could use your VTuber because
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
stakes are lower. Because
That's
like
true.
in hip hop, you gotta present that authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And with like the personal uh persona in that aspect, like you're still presenting that authenticity, but with like the VTuber side of it, you might not be presenting the authenticity, but like again, the stakes are lower, and no one's gonna think that you're being fake, knowing that you have a different persona for that kind of music.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Uh,
And you know what's funny? I actually have like a Metal Gear Solid based track
yeah.
that I have recorded. I tried to release it once, but I didn't get any views for it, so I just took it down. I might re-upload it on like an anniversary for a Metal Gear Solid game, but it's probably not gonna get that much traction if I'm being totally honest. But I do have like a few bars in here where I talk about Mori Calliope.
Hey, you do that, do like a remix of Sneaking on the Side, Bing Bang Boom, you'll get a retweet from her, and all that's gravy.
Not a remix, no. It's just an original thing. But hey, what do I think of Maury? You should know I'm not the father. When all I can say is I'm sorry. She really needs to see the doctor. You're so full of calliope, you could turn into a UTI. At least I had an opponent respond, but you can't swim your way out of this pond.
Yeah,
That is light. That is light compared to the other diss tracks. I really
I will be, I don't know. I haven't listened to Callie's music in ages, so I don't feel like I could give a fair critical assessment. I feel like hers is one of those careers that I'd love to cover in hindsight, like once all is said and done, and just watch her evolution as an artist, because she has evolved quite considerably from those early days when she and like the other people in Hololive Myth were like the first big English agency VTubers.
Right. And I could understand Mori Calliope being significant in that she's the first. Is it fair to say VTuber rapper? I'm not sure if it is. I'm not sure because of the fact that like her production style and what she's rapping about, it just, I don't know. You can't really take her seriously as like a VTuber rapper. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I feel it's probably the difference maybe between like a Curtis Blow and then later with, getting into real rap like fucking Run DMC or Rakim or something like that. Like maybe she's
I was gonna
like
say Nas, but like
maybe she's like the commercial push to really legitimate like rapping through like a VTuber persona, and then we're gonna get like a whole bunch of like really weird experimental artists in a few years, like in like the Black community coming up and like doing songs that might chart on like Billboard or whatever if like one of their songs goes viral on TikTok. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just spitballing.
That would be really cool to see, but actually I have an interesting idea of what I would love to see in the future for like VTuber music.
Yeah.
What if we had the VTuber equivalent of Parliament Funkadelic?
Oh, that would be fucking wild.
That would be absolutely fucking insane. I'm sorry, but VTuber community, we need a George Clinton here. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh my god. We need we need somebody with the gumption to take a shitload of acid and make an entire like fucking VTuber video or song with that as inspiration.
Yeah, well, not just video, but just like a whole album, a whole funk album based around a VTuber band. Because like, technically, Gorillaz already did that in the 2000s,
Yeah.
but in the VTuber sphere, that
I mean,
hasn't been done yet.
I've wanted something like that for ages. Like it'd be so cool if like people, if like a bunch of people got together for like a music project and like they all sort of like depicted themselves as their personas, you know, playing music in like videos or whatever. And the only thing is, I feel like it's so hard to do something like that logistically, at least as anything beyond like a one-off studio project, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, I could see the problem with that being like mainly a one project kind of thing. But again, you could do with like you know what Funkadelic, Parliament Funkadelic did, and like do it for multiple albums if the
Yeah.
inspiration is there. But
Yeah.
in the rap side of things, realistically speaking, and again, this is just solely my perspective. I don't necessarily think you could get away with rapping as your VTuber without coming across as either corny or cringe because yeah, I'm sure that you're like trying to be yourself, but you're not like being your actual self. Does that make sense? Like you're rapping as a a visual interpretation of you,
Yeah.
right? And it's in the person and you're like as this visual represent you're like as the I don't think realistically you could rap as your VTuber because other people are just gonna look at that and be like, are you
Yeah.
serious? You
I
what
don't
mean?
know. I mean, rap is it's no stranger to like people rapping under like aliases or personas or like in wild costumes or anything like that.
You're
I
not
mean,
necessarily wrong there.
I look
And
at
another
it, you
good
know, like
example of this is like the Roxanne Wars and all of the records that came out from that.
oh
Like there was
yeah.
one record where there was like a rap duo that rapped as her parents. It was like
Mm.
rap roleplay. Apparently that was like the only instance of that.
That's
So
wild.
that is absolutely wild. So I mean I could kind of see it
Yeah, I
working
mean,
maybe in that context. But
I
again, like, you know, when it comes to hip hop and rap, like, there's a lot of emphasis on authenticity.
right. I mean, I guess I'm just approaching it from the whole angle of, you know, from the rock world of having, you know, grown up with Kiss and like a bunch of other theatrical bands. Like, I
Right.
feel like something like VTubing could slot right into like popular entertainment and like, you know, like charting on the billboards or whatever. Maybe something with rap would be a bit harder to broach, but I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit.
There's definitely a healthy future for commercially successful VTuber music.
I think there is, sure, especially if we're talking about in the context of like maybe K-pop or you know idol groups that have
Yeah,
VTubers as well. I could kind of see it being successful in that route because you know VTubing that came from you know the anime community.
yeah,
But then like the problem with that is like VTubers, not VTubers, but like the VTubing community,
yeah,
they kind of inherited the you know the racism that came from the anime community.
yeah.
And yeah, that's especially ugly.
Well, it's gonna come to a head sooner or later, I feel like. uh, I was gonna say, I guess we can pivot from here to talking more about like what you
Yeah.
do as a VTuber. Like, what inspired you to become a VTuber?
You know what the funny thing is? The main thing that inspired me to become a VTuber was watching furry VTubers on
Oh
Twitch.
yeah.
Yeah, mainly VTubers like Barley the Burr, I think was the main one. Stripey Dragon, if I remember right. Oh God,
I'm only familiar with that like
uh,
Papa Mutt guy.
Papa Mutt. Yeah, not him specifically, but like yeah, Barley the Burr, Stripey Dragon. Oh God, who else am I thinking of? Not an NV. There's so many. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's crazy. I mean,
So
I
many.
under it's understandable, absolutely. I mean, like being like a VTuber avatar is basically just a digital fursuit.
To an extent, absolutely. It being a VTuber, it is very much like having a virtual fursuit. The only difference is that you don't really need to keep cool all the time. You don't need like a freaking air conditioner in the back
Exactly.
of your head.
It's far more comfortable. Yeah, no,
Yeah, way more comfortable.
I'm only loosely familiar with that circle of VTubers, you know, I guess with like like Nick Nocturne of Night Mind was a part of that before he took his hiatus from VTubing. But
Nick Nocturne, he kind of inspired me a little bit because like I did see some of his earlier streams when he was a PNG and he was playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
yeah.
So I saw a little bit of that, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was mainly like the furry side of that inspired me to take up VTubing, as well as my best friend and bro at the time, Kiba Arizora, as well as my current ex boyfriend, who was also like a Calico, Space
Okay.
Calico VTuber.
Okay, neat, neat. So you had like a lot of friends to sort of guide you into that.
Exactly, and the funny thing is that like this particular alien persona, this alien like VTuber kind of thing, like the design isn't anything new. Like I
Right.
had an initial design when I was trying to be like a horror narrator,
Mm-hmm.
but the alien, he had like oh gosh, he had like a suit without the tie and like not like totally black, but just like a black sort of
Right.
like chest outline similar to again like a furry kind of a belly, and he had
Mm-hmm.
like razor sharp knife like fingers in like
Mm.
a really wicked freaking smile. And the eyes, like they weren't perfectly circular like this one. They were like a little bit kind of like a cannonball kind of
Oh
went
yeah.
into his head in that kind of sense, but you still had like the white irises in there. So a
Mm.
lot of those like design details, like with the black oh god, with the white irises and the black eyes, like and
Mm-hmm.
the gray skin as well, all of that is from that old design. But then you also have, and you're not able to see it with like this particular PNG, but you also have the ears that look similar to like either fish gills or maybe like uh leaves of some kind, maybe
Mm-hmm.
an amoeba.
Oh yeah.
That came about when talking to another artist about like, you know, redesigning uh the the VTuber that I, you know, originally worked with. He just had like a white t-shirt, a green hat, and just like a pair of white headphones, and that was it.
Hey, we got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
And this, do you have like a? Is it like a PNG or do you have a 2D in the works?
I don't have a 2D in the works, unfortunately, because
Uh,
I just can't afford it.
that's fair. I mean, VTubing is an expensive hobby.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is expensive. But you know what? I think that kind of gives me the motivation to want to succeed as a PNG somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, if I'm being realistic about it, at some point I would need to get away from being a PNG into being more of a like a 2D kind of thing, you know what I mean? But
Right,
then,
right.
like, there's only so much resources that I can use because like I do have the webcam, I do have an iPhone that I could use like face tracking, and I do have a stand for that,
Oh yeah.
right? I have all the tools at my disposal for that kind of thing, but I'm just like, what's the point? Like,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
more focused on wanting to get a new audio interface just so that way I have like freaking freaking recording studio console level
Exactly.
preamp with like a
It's
flat frequency
priorities.
response. I
You
have
gotta
my price.
prioritize. uh, I'm making my own TD. Oh, Godspeed. I don't think I could ever. Well, I don't have the artistic talents to draw like a 2D model for one. So I definitely
Yeah.
I definitely need to commission that. I don't even know the first thing about rigging either. So
Honestly, dude, that is totally understandable.
yeah.
Actually, there is like oh god. There's like this one artist, and this is the main guy that like made the PNG. But he's mainly like a furry porn artist.
All right.
Yeah. DG254 is the guy that drew the PNG. I would highly recommend him. Now, granted, his prices are a little steep, especially for like renders at like
Yeah.
around 100 something. I don't know if he changed his prices recently, but like I
Right.
got the PNG and like the mouth shapes for when I'm using the PNG in Honk, which is like a $12 PNG program that I usually use when
Interesting.
streaming, just so that way people are able to see that the mouth movements on my PNG are translating to the mouth movements that I'm emulating in real life.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that software. PNG tubing has come a long way. Yeah.
It really has, but there is also like PNG Tuber Plus, which I tried to use that,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's just so complicated. I'm just like, I don't know how to use it.
Mm.
I'm fairly happy with Honk as
Yeah.
is.
I've been a Vroid guy through and through. I mean, thank God, as long as you have the PC to run it, it's free. It's got plenty of options, and I'd like to think I've been able to make some pretty expressive models with it.
And in all fairness, I do have the PC to get a live 2D model, but again, because of the fact that VTubing is an expensive hobby, like you said, I'm just like, what's the point? You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There is a certain charm to like being able to pull out different avatars for stream every now and then. Like I'm currently in one of like 3 different outfits I have for Resi currently. This is the more like pared down heavy metal version. There's also one where like I got the longer hair and like a bit of makeup and stuff, like full on glam metal Resi.
Nice.
But it's fun being able to like make like custom costumes like in such a way that I'm able to like fit whatever it is I'm narrating or doing in like my deep dives like that.
Yeah, and I could certainly see the charm in that. I think I'm just thinking about more of like the practical use for like multiple costumes, because
Yeah.
again, because of how expensive it is, I'm just like, do I really want a live 2D model?
Yeah.
Do I really want to buy a live 2D model and get like a custom outfit for freaking Halloween, Christmas, birthday, maybe even like a Fansly variant with just no pants, really?
Man, it is a lot for sure.
Yeah, I kind of just again, at least for me, I kind of just prefer sticking to the one PNG.
Yeah,
that
yeah. I have. So like, what do you hope to do as a musician in the VTuber community? Like, as loaded as a term as this might be, what do you hope is your legacy?
I guess as a musician, I would the kind of legacy I would like to leave behind as a musician in the VTuber community is I just want more people to be a little bit more attentive and mindful about not just their messaging, but about translating their story into art, meaningful art, and to not be afraid to be themselves. Like, yeah, not in like the, not necessarily in like the flashy, you know, light show, because like we already have plenty
Right.
of that. But like, if you're someone that can't afford a model like I can't,
Right.
you could still be yourself. You could still express yourself, maybe not necessarily through your VTuber musically, but like through your own story, through a different persona.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
I got like a checklist. I've got a full-on checklist of stuff I would love to be able to do once I become like, you know, Twitch partner. But right now I'm kind of just wanting to collab with more people and maybe even work with other musicians with mixing and mastering, because I do provide mixing and mastering services on VGen,
Right.
as well as
yeah.
custom type beats. Like if there's any other, you know, VTuber rappers out there who need a type beat from a guy like me that uses basically music industry standard plugins and shit like
Yeah.
that.
How's
I
that?
would
How
love
has that
that.
commission work been going?
Not great. I've not gotten a single client. As
Oh,
of yet, it's
okay. But the page
been
is
a
up.
nightmare. And actually, yeah, the page is still up. And actually, I tried to promote my services one time by quote tweeting a guy, and you know, send it to like a bunch of other different mixing engineers.
Right.
And there's this one guy he's an owl VTuber. He
Mm,
basically quote tweeted that quote tweet. My quote tweet basically said, I provide mixing and mastering services for $30, right?
right.
And the owl VTuber quote tweeted that saying, not the kind of flex you think it is, my guy. So I see that, and I'm just like, okay, let me just try to have a conversation about this, because I feel like a productive conversation should come from this, because while I do understand needing to price your services to like a certain degree, like in, you know, the hundreds of dollars, I understand that. But, you know, when the rest of the country is in the middle of an economic recession, I don't want to necessarily have that price turn people away from reaching out and wanting our services. So I was just
And
like,
also,
okay.
that dude was just being a dick. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah,
I would
he
not come
was
at
being a
you
dick.
with such. Even if I had an issue with like you like lowering your mixing prices beyond what they're worth or whatever, I wouldn't come at you with such hostility, you know, on
Right.
Twitter.
I basically just said to them, okay, let's be realistic about this. How many VTubers do you think could afford $150 for a mix? And I have gotten responses from other people basically saying, like, for those that want a good mix, or from another musician that said, if I can't afford it, then I'll mix it myself. And I agree with that take.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with the take. That is totally valid. But the Owl VTuber basically said, every one of them, my guy. Actually, wait. I think I still have the. I think I still have the full freaking response from him. Hang on, let me find it.
Man.
Because I just look at that and I'm just like, what kind of drugs are you on to want to? Yeah, every one of them, my guy. Every single client I have had in the last 2 to 3 years has paid me my rate or more. Most mixers are worth their salt, are charging $150 plus. Of course, there are exceptions, but $30, dude, really? Killing the economy here. Straight up asshole.
Man. I appreciate
a straight up asshole. I'm sorry. I don't care if he's verified. I don't care if he has a freaking list of clients that he's worked with in the past, but if you're gonna respond to my question with that kind of energy, I'm sorry, but you don't deserve to have the clients that you don't deserve to get work anymore.
I appreciate
that is unacceptable asshole behavior.
I appreciate, producers who are able to, do what they do, but, not demand a bunch of like, man, far be it from me as a non-producer to say what is and what isn't a frivolous cost, but I'm just thinking
Right.
of the idea of like Steve Albini, who back in the day was very famous for taking on like cheap production jobs, even though by all rights he was like a world-class alternative rock producer that had produced like several acclaimed albums. It's just
Oh,
like
absolutely.
because that's a thing that bands still need at the end of the day. Like they need like cheap recording services out there for people to you know to record to put their music to tape and get it out there.
Right. And the end result of that particular exchange, I did talk to another producer friend of mine. He's mainly in like the Eurobeat
Yeah.
space, but he's still a cool guy. DJ Afterburns. I talked to him, and I think I eventually came to the conclusion that like, yes, my services are absolutely valuable, but I will admit $30 is too low, but
Mm-hmm.
$150, like that's still too high. So
Yeah.
I had to raise my prices for the mixing and mastering service and for the custom type beat services.
Mm-hmm.
So mixing and mastering services, I'm now charging at $80 per
Okay.
track. And for the custom type beat, it's 120, I believe. Because
Mm-hmm.
I have seen producers out there try to charge freaking hundreds and hundreds of dollars for like an
Yeah,
exclusive rights for said beat. And I'm just
man.
like, that is too much. Sometimes you can't even like get a set price on like the exclusive rights to that beat. You have to
Yeah.
like contact the person directly to negotiate a price. And
That's
I'm just like,
crazy.
what the hell, man?
I
It's like freaking.
man.
I'm not gonna sit here and say like, is $100 not enough for you? But I'm like, cause like I understand that like certain producers, they do feel as if their work is at a high enough quality to the point where they can justify the high price tag. Which
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't fault them for that necessarily. But like, if you're doing it for the sake of just squeezing more money out of someone who just wants to make music in their bedroom,
Yeah,
like
it's
that's just shitty.
yeah. It's definitely like one of those additional fees that that's kind of bullshit,
It very
Uh
much is bullshit. Yeah, absolutely. I even said in that particular thread where I announced I was changing the prices, I'm of the mindset that the access to listening to music shouldn't just be free. It's not just that,
yeah.
but the ability to make music should be free. And I say this understanding that there is a certain amount of money you still have to invest in order to make music in the first place,
Right.
like with having a computer or an audio interface or a MIDI keyboard. So
Mhm.
in that regard, I understand needing to at least put that initial investment in. But in regards to just making music as a whole, like that should be free for everyone. Music has influenced culture for thousands and thousands of years. That is
Absolutely.
a very valuable fucking tool.
Mhm.
And people don't seem to understand that nowadays because of the fact that music has been turned into a commodity
Yeah.
and just like put labeled with a price tag.
And that's without getting into AI music and the slopification of it all.
Yeah, AI is just gonna make it even worse. And
Yeah.
what's gonna be worse is that because of the fact that AI is so prevalent in generating new music, now any other schmuck who doesn't have
Yeah.
Basically, because of the fact that AI is a thing, literally any schmuck that doesn't give a shit about the time and patience and work that goes into making music, they could just type in a prompt for whatever kind of music that they want to make and just shit that out
There's
into
gonna be a
streaming
lot of bottom
services
of the barrel
and get
slop.
a not only do that, but like buy bots as well in order to stream that nonstop.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Spotify says they don't allow bots on their platform.
Oh no, bullshit.
Ugh.
Do you have any like dream goals or collabs as a VTuber?
Oh god. I think my number one dream collab is with Socks the Wolf. Now, granted, he is a furry VTuber, but he's one of my Oshis, and I respect him a lot.
Right.
Scully Sinful is another one as well. Again, another Oshi of mine. He's a Hellhound VTuber, but in regards to like additional goals that I have as a VTuber, obviously, I think the first one is like I made a promise where if I became Twitch partner, I would read the full lore on my stream. And right now my lore is about 20 something pages long.
Okay.
So
wow.
it's an extensive read that is still very much in progress. So that is one thing I want to be able to accomplish. But then another goal that I have for when I become Twitch partner is to be able to host several charity streams for LGBTQIA+, Black, and trans causes, and have that money to go to charities that, deliver tangible results. And I've got like screenshots of several charities in mind, as well as uplifting my friends through stream collaborations and collaborating with VTubers who would probably have way less followers than me. So that would be great. And then probably the biggest one is just moving to Canada.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And here's the thing too, is that I would absolutely love to make, merchandise for my channel and for people to be able to buy it. But the problem is that in order to get like sales off of said merch, you need to be at least, popular enough to the point where people are willing to invest a little bit of money into you, not necessarily as a person, but like as a brand of some kind. People in Hollywood are always going to say, oh, you need to be protective of your brand. And I'm just like, I'm not a brand, I'm a person.
Yeah. I want to do merchandise someday, but I could hardly, I'm not of a mind to want to do like a million different t-shirt designs with like the PNG of Resi and some like fancy text or graphics next to it or whatever. If anything, I would want to release like the fucking jacket, and that's maybe it. Like I don't really have any merch ideas as far as Resi.
That would be a really cool idea, actually, to release the jacket as a thing of I could see you doing that for sure.
And I mean like the hoodie, like like an
the hoodie
hoodie
too, yeah.
An orange hoodie with a paw print on it.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I think because of the fact I'm making like the Winston Smith inspired pieces, maybe those could potentially become merch, but again, that kind of just depends on the demand for it.
Yeah.
And right now, because of, my small following of like 200 something followers, like the demand for merchandise isn't really there.
Yeah, it's hard
I figured out that I would need maybe 2,000 Twitch followers or 1,000 followers on Blue Sky in order to get any sort of real demand for merchandise.
It's hard to really know like the sort of conversion rate between like the followers you have and how many people would be willing to spend money on like an item of merch.
Yeah, and plus being able to get popular nowadays, I think it's gonna be way harder because of the fact that like TikTok uh is changing its algorithm to fit in with like certain freaking
Yeah,
political points and shit like that. So now
yeah,
I'm having to re-upload a lot of my stream clips from TikTok over
yeah.
to a new app that I have on my phone called Upscrolled.
I
So
see.
I'm having to do that, but then like, after all of those clips are uploaded, I'm gonna have to delete my TikTok and just keep uploading new stream clips uh to YouTube, maybe Instagram, and then Upscrolled instead of TikTok.
What is
Because
Upscrolled? Is that
you're-
like the new TikTok clone that's going around?
it's a TikTok slash like Instagram clone
Huh, I
that
see.
isn't tied to any. Actually, yeah. No, let me hang on. I need to find the freaking
You're
description
fine.
for this. Okay. Uh. Okay. Upscrolled, where voices connect, stories unfold, and expression thrives. Built for authentic connection and genuine expression, unlike mainstream platforms, Upscrolled prioritizes real conversations and meaningful interactions.
Huh, I see.
We champion authentic self-expression and create space for you to share your genuine thoughts and experiences.
Interesting.
And it's
Uh,
free of censorship. So that's even
hmm.
better.
I see. I see. I mean, I'm still not really the TikTok type, but I guess if I were to ever go over to something like that, I'd probably. I mean, I still have Instagram, so technically I don't even
Yeah,
need
I
to.
have Instagram too, so you're not alone there for sure. But I would
Yeah,
at least give Upscrolled a try. You're probably not gonna get a lot of likes or followers out
yeah,
of it, but it is
yeah.
good to at least get your foot in the door while it's still open.
I suppose so. Yeah. Um. Let's see here. Um. So, like, when you stream, like, what sort of games do you like to stream?
Okay, what's funny is I have a schedule for this kind of thing. So
Hmm.
Sundays, I think I usually just do like a just chatting stream and watch YouTube videos in my
Okay.
chat and react to them, obviously. Uh,
Nice.
Tuesdays nowadays, I'm playing Yakuza. No, I already finished Yakuza 0. Uh, I'm playing Sleeping Dogs. I'm playing through Sleeping Dogs,
Okay.
and I'm almost done with that game.
That's cool.
Uh, and then Wednesdays, um, I think it used to like be between uh Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney,
Mm-hmm.
and music streams, but nowadays it's like I do a music stream one Wednesday and then I do an editing stream the next Wednesday because, bro, I have so many stream clips that I have yet to edit. It's kind of insane. Like I kind of need to dedicate a stream date in order to do that. But
So you
now
do
I'm
video editing on stream?
uh stream, yeah, editing on stream
I
basically.
see.
But now I'm starting to think about Sundays instead of like, solely just chatting, maybe I could listen to new music and give my thoughts and opinions on it, possibly. I would
Hey.
need to enable that one feature OBS has. I think that it's like the Twitch VOD channel
Yeah.
where you're able to select it on a specific source, like window capture, if I remember right,
Yeah.
or something to that extent. Use that and have it muted in the VOD so that way Twitch doesn't flag it for like copyrighted material.
Right. Yeah. No, I know there's like a whole bunch of like workarounds about that, and I've never figured it out. Like it'd be fun to listen to copyrighted music while you're streaming, but it's uh it's not exactly an easy thing to do.
It really isn't. It really isn't. Especially if you're like re-uploading the VOD to YouTube as well, and you have to explain to them like, I'm literally critiquing the music that we're
Hmm.
playing on the stream.
Right. um. So like, What would you say is your favorite video game OST?
Ooh, favorite video game OST. I think it's a tie between Fallout New Vegas
Mm-hmm.
and Tony Hawk's Project 8. It's
Mm-hmm.
either that one or American Wasteland. That one's also really good.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know that the soundtrack has like copyrighted material on that one as well, and it's not like original. If you had to tell me like, okay, what's your favorite video game soundtrack that consists of like original music, I would probably say Skyrim.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, hey, licensed music soundtracks are just as valid. I was talking with Kirby Cross last week about like how sports games and like wrestling games always used to have like these soundtracks loaded with like great like rock and metal and all that stuff.
Yeah. They really did, and it's kind of it's kind of crazy looking back and playing through some of these games, the kind of music that would play, especially during uh I think Dreamcast games as well, like
Oh
Sonic
yeah.
Adventure 2 and maybe even Sonic Heroes to an extent.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Love those original Sonic Adventure game soundtracks. Uh, well, that's about like all the questions I have. There's one more thing
Right.
that I usually like to end these streams on with, and that is, given the state of the world these days and how stressful things have become, I often wonder
Actually,
if
what if
my
we did album recommendations? Like albums that we could recommend our viewers to listen to.
uh I've never thought of that as a format, but maybe I'll have to start incorporating that. But let me ask first, though. Like, given
Okay, okay, all right. I apologize.
you're fine, you're fine. I totally got you. Um, what sort of music do you like to turn to in times of stress? Like, if you're feeling sad, anxious, angry, or what have you? Like, what sort of stuff do you like to bump?
I think it kind of just depends on the mood. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm really angry and frustrated and I just need to get all of those feelings out into a piece of art, uh, just listening to a lot of hardcore punk.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Dead Kennedys, Black Flag, that especially helps. And Queens of the Stone Age's songs for the deaf, and especially
Oh
like the
yeah.
first track, not like the zero track, but like the millionaire track.
Yeah, yeah. No, totally.
That
That
goes insanely hard. But
absolutely.
if it's like I'm in more of like a depressive mood, I'll probably turn to either Earl Sweatshirt, Makami, just to kind of like, ride out that particular emotion. Maybe even Jay Dilla to
Mm-hmm.
an extent.
I see. Yeah, absolutely. Um. Well, yeah. That's all I have. I was going to ask, like, if you had anything you wanted to ask or share or anything, but I guess we can do that. The favorite, the recommended albums thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess, what do you have in mind to recommend?
Okay. All right. If you really want to get to know me as a artist, uh, as a record producer, just as a person, some of the albums I'm gonna recommend would be Billywood's Ethiops.
Mm.
That's the first one I could already think of off the bat. Like the production on that one is so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
uh, because of the fact like it deals in a lot of like the subject matter. It's you know generational trauma. Just to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
summarize
Yeah.
for like, uh, oh god, Cheat Codes by Danger Mouse and Black Thought is probably another one I would recommend because it is just such a tight and really damn good hip hop album for sure as well.
Hmm. As far
Um,
as like what I would recommend, I mean, it's really hard to. I wouldn't view as anything like maybe things to know me by, but I'm always about like exposing people to lesser known music, perhaps. So as far as like some more obscure rock albums that I really
oh
love,
god, I was gonna
there's.
say one more. Ah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead if you want
It's
to do
okay.
that.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Billy Wood's Ethiops, Cheat Codes by Danger Mouse and Black Thought. Probably last one I could think of is Donuts by J Dilla.
Okay.
I was also gonna say Another Batch, but that one's a bootleg. So
Yeah, there. So as far as what I'm thinking of off the top of my head, I would say.
probably gonna recommend a Yes album.
Well, I mean, yeah. Apart from Yes, I'd say some more obscure music that I really love. There's Golem and 10,000 Days are two really good albums by this band called Wands. They're like this psychedelic rock outfit from like the San Francisco Bay Area, sort of in that whole scene with like the OCs and Ty Segall and whatnot. But yeah, they're how to say. Yeah, Wander are interesting in that they really started off like garagey and psyche and heavy, like kind of verging on stoner metal in some places, before developing more into like an artistic sort of psychedelic. They brought on like a keyboard player and got a bit more jazzy with subsequent albums, which aren't necessarily terrible, just like a different sound. But those early Wand albums, like I'm saying, like Golem and 10,000 Days, fucking
Right.
incredible. Also along those lines, I think there's one album by Meat Bodies, kind of in that same sort of San Francisco scene. I think what is it called? Yeah, it's Alice. Their album Alice
Okay.
was really good. I remember seeing like them perform a few cuts from that in a KEXP session, and they just completely fucking crushed it. Like that album is, it's equal parts, heavy and psychedelic. Definitely recommend that.
Okay.
What else off the top of my head? Oh yeah, and I guess I could also recommend like an Orb album. I was kind of talking about them at the beginning of the stream. I went to see them on Friday, and while I could recommend their most recent album to give y'all an appreciation of like their current sound, I don't really know. Like I think they come to life more as a live album, like with the jazz improv more than like Tail and Ben sort of dealt with it. So like I would say like a really good album for Orb is The Space Between. Like it's very prog influenced, very stoner metal still. It's got like a good mesh of influences on there. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of off the top of my head what I'd recommend. I don't really I didn't really have anything prepared.
It's all right. It's all right. That's a good selection.
Yeah, but yeah. If that's all we've got, yeah, thank you very much for coming and chatting with me today, Mortal Martian. It was good to do this right and have a proper conversation, you and me.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to have finally been able to have this talk with you properly. I'm very happy to have I'm very happy that we had this talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, where can people best find you?
You could find me on YouTube. Just type in the search bar Mortal Martian. That's probably the easiest one.
I've
You
got
could
it.
also find me
I've got you
on
tagged in the title, so yeah.
right,
If you all
right.
want to
That
follow his
that's
YouTube,
also
click
yeah,
there.
that's also yeah. You could click there too. You could also find me on Blue Sky. I'm more so on Twitter as well.
Oh yeah.
You could also find me on Twitch as Mortal Martian. On Twitter, actually, you have to search for Mortal Martian VT, not Mortal Martian, because that username was taken by someone else, apparently.
Okay. Thank you both for, as I say in Martian stream Strimstram. You are welcome. I'm glad to provide. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in today. It's had a fun chat as usual with these streams, and
I'm also on VGen,
oh
obviously.
yeah. Yeah, check out Mortal Martian, and if you're coming from his crowd and you like this stream, consider subscribing to me. I try to do streams like this every week. I've also done like a bunch of long form, like edited video essays on music history, if that sparks your interest at all. But yeah. Otherwise, that will be it from me for today. I'm probably going to go now and make some dinner, maybe try to do a bit more work on the third Glam Metal Deep Dive script, but otherwise, yeah, I'll take it easy. But let me see if I can leave you guys off somewhere before I go. Who is streaming right now? Let's see.
Wait, you're
Huh?
able to raid through YouTube?
Yeah, no, it's
channel through YouTube.
It's been a thing for a little bit now. It's so funny whenever I do interviews with Twitch VTubers, because you can clearly tell, you know, whenever I get to this section and try to redirect, they're always like, "Huh? I didn't know you could redirect on YouTube."
Yeah, I genuinely didn't know you could do that.
That is all well and good. But yeah, we're going to raid into Aya Amare's D&D stream. She's got like a collab going on right now with like Skara, Gold Bullet, and I think a few other male VTubers. But yeah, if you want to join me in raiding into her, we're going to type as usual cat raid. But you know, if you want to go and do your own thing, I won't fault you for that. Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in once again to another lively music talk stream, and I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.